Well, I have a question for you. Maybe you know, because I don't. Where in the world did the summer go? I mean, for that matter, where did 2025 go? Here we are. We just celebrated Halloween a couple of nights ago, and October is usually my absolute favorite month for getting outside, enjoying the weather, and doing a lot of the landscaping things that I like to do in October. It's a great month because it's really not so hot anymore. Well, today it's going to be 80 and sunny, so I can't complain there, but it's usually a really perfect month for getting outside, getting a lot of things done, moving plants around if you need to, getting ready for the winter. If you winterize any of your plants, it's a perfect year. This is kind of when I start to put the covers on my greenhouses and start thinking about those cold temperatures and cold nights that are just around the corner. Unfortunately, I didn't really get much of an opportunity to get out this summer or even this fall for that matter. My parents came out and visited this summer for quite a few weeks. That was quite nice. It was great to see them and catch up. And most recently, a good friend from back in Michigan. Been friends for over 40 years from the same street, still very close. He came out here for work, and it was great to see him and show him around the yard, show him what I've been up to, and give him a little peek at the greenhouses again. So that's really nice. I love hosting and having people over and showing him around the yard and the plants and such. But he just recently posted on my Instagram and said, "Hey, what's up with your YouTube channel? I want to see a video, especially I want to see a walkthrough video." So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to show you a little bit around the yard, some things that I've done, some things that have changed a little bit here and there, some things that are new and some things that aren't here anymore. So kind of want to just show you a little bit around there. And then a little bit later, we are going to talk specifically about, I think we are going to maybe remove some pups from a plant in the greenhouse. I haven't really picked out what plant that I want to do yet because I have a few in there. So we'll take a look in there. Maybe we'll even look in both greenhouses. There might be something in the other one that I haven't quite checked out in a while. So if you're interested in a little walkthrough of the yard, maybe I'll even pull the drone out too and show you a little bit about what's going on. So if you're interested in that, stick around and we'll talk about that next. Hey agave lovers, welcome back to the channel. My name is Lucas and today we are going to take a little tour of the yard to see what's changed, see what's the same. And we are going to start first with this flowering parasana here, this agave parasana. This started flowering, I think late spring if I recall. And I posted a few shots of it before the bloom started. And I was pretty sure that that's what was going to happen. And before you knew it, a couple of days later, you started to see just the little bit of the bloom, or it's also called the inflorescence, start to peek out there. And typically agaves do bloom. When they bloom in the summertime. And we are into November already, and it kind of stalled. It's, I would say maybe the entire bloom itself, maybe 4.5 feet tall. From the base of the plant, maybe about 5.5, 6 feet tall. It has a lot farther to go. I think these blooms get right around 10 to 15 feet, their total height. They'll typically at the top start to branch out and make a really beautiful bloom. Fortunately, it didn't finish its bloom this summer. So I haven't ever had an agave parasana bloom before, so I don't know exactly what to expect. So I don't know if it's just going to stay like this and it kind of stalled out in its blooming phase, or if it's going to continue again next summer and finish out its flowering process. Fingers are crossed that it is going to eventually bloom, but I kind of fear like it's not going to do much since it stalled out, I would say back in late August is when it kind of stopped growing. So drop a comment, let me know if you have any experience with parasana or kind of a similar agave as well. I know Agave Montana has a very similar bloom. So if you have any experience with that, let me know your thoughts. I would be happy to hear that. So that's kind of the big news around the yard, has just been this, waiting for the inflorescence to kind of do its thing and produce a beautiful, beautiful bouquet of blooms, but just didn't happen. So again, hoping that still does. So while I'm here, I might as well just kind of talk about a few of these here. We've got an Agave Otirii here, or Titanota, and this little one here didn't do so well summer 2024. I thought I was going to have to take it out because in the blistering heat, and it was so young, it just wasn't taking very well. It turned brown and red, but I left it go. It fought the heat and overcame last winter. This summer it did really well. Oh, what do we have here? Sorry, you probably can't hear it, but a neat plane kind of coming into the airport over here. Pretty loud. Oh, anyway, sorry about that. Boy, it's loud too. I will just wait a second until it passes by. Jeez, that's a loud plane. Anyway, sorry about that. This Otirii has had some problems in the past, but I am so glad that it's really healthy now. And as we, oh boy, now here comes the train. So just give me a second, I'm gonna wait, because it's gonna be loud over here. It's gonna be even louder over here. Yep, that's loud. It's a big, long freight train, so it's going to have a long ways to go here. So hopefully it's not too loud, but I'm just going to keep talking anyway. A few other plants that we have here. We have Agave macroacantha. This was the first one that I had in the yard. These are always riddled with pests, at least where I live. I've always had problems with macroacanthas throughout the yard. This thing pups like crazy too. I pull out, I would say, between 10 and 20 pups every single year, and these aren't like little pups. These are pretty big, and they're all strewn about the place. I'll get pups coming out of side here, over here, way over there, out over here. So yeah, if you have one of these in the yard, just make sure you've got the room, and you can kind of get in here with the other plants and get those out. One of my favorites here, this is the Agave Gesbergetti purpusorum. One of my favorites. I have quite a few in the landscaping, a lot in pots as well. It wasn't pretty popular to sell for a while there, and I think some agave enthusiasts, maybe the market kind of got saturated a little bit for a while there, but I love this plant. This one's still pretty young. I've got a really big one in the backyard, probably about 3.5 feet, getting close to its kind of final size there. One of my favorites, Agave Titanota black and blue, got them all over the yard. Fortunately, I have so many pups that I can't even give those things away. I've got so many. Another Titanota here, this one is a lion's mane. This one's getting pretty big. I think it's probably going to flower in the next maybe 5 years. Don't know a lot about the lion's mane growth habits, so not really sure what its timeline is for blooming. Back here, we have a Tiho, which is a hybrid Titanota and Horita. Probably can't see it that well, but it's sticking up. And again, October, November, this is the best time to really look at the agaves. They start to kind of come out of their summertime shock when, you know, the extreme heats and the temperatures really cause these agaves to kind of close up, and you get a lot of burn marks a lot of times on these agaves. But now they start to open back up again. They know that rain is coming soon. We've already had a ton of rain. A lot of flooding in California last month, and we've got more rain in the forecast in the next couple of days. So a lot of rain, probably reason why everything looks so lush right now. Usually it does take a little bit longer for everything to kind of pop back after the harsh summer months, but not this year. We've had a nice, hasn't been too hot all summer, so the plants did really well in the landscaping. We have a Titanota white ice back here as well. We have just poking up here an Agave Herita, and that is one of my favorites. When I'm done talking, I'm going to kind of show you around a little bit. Maybe I'll intermingle some of that footage with while I'm speaking now so that you can see. And yeah, I think we'll kind of move around, but before we move onto the side of the property and around, big old lizard over here looking at me, wondering, what is this guy doing? This area right here used to be shaded by the what is it called? The Palo Verde tree. I've got another one actually that's shading the camera right now. It's kind of arcing over the camera right here. Big, beautiful, love this tree. But I had another one right here and it was full, wonderful. And I've talked about it in the past. I had to cut that down earlier this year. It got into my water lines, which was no good. We were having all these sewer issues. And once I took that tree out, I treated the stump, and the roots are no longer into the sewer system, which is fantastic. Haven't had any problems in our bathrooms. So far so good, but unfortunately it's left kind of a hole in my landscaping, which I'm still trying to get used to. Big tree used to provide a lot of filtered light for all of these agaves here. Don't have it anymore, but fortunately, the Palo Verde that is off camera right here, you'll see it in a moment, that is now kind of stretching its legs, and its canopy is getting larger and larger and larger, and it's kind of filling up the space, the void where I have a void now, but also used to be taken up by the other Palo Verdes. So I've been talking too long here. I kind of want to show you a bit more, so I just want to get back into that. So let's go take a look at what we see, and we'll go from there. So one of the things I wanted to show you first is the Pachycereus pringlei, or the false saguaro cactus that I have here. As you can see, there's not a whole lot of room here with the large Agave Americana. I've talked a lot about it in the past. I had planned on removing that Agave Americana from the front yard this spring, or potentially this fall. I decided to keep it here. The original intention was to move it or remove it, just because it's crowding out all the other stuff that's in the yard. I've talked about it in depth. It's just that kind of decided to keep it. Everyone thought I was crazy for keeping it. Other people thought I was crazy for leaving it. Ultimately, I decided to leave it for now. It is sort of the hallmark of this yard, this landscaping. A lot of people enjoy it so much, including myself, but you know, I've got a greenhouse full of agaves, full of cactus, full of really beautiful plants that I would love to put out here. But for now, I decided to just leave it and make some changes around the agave. And one of them is this Pachycereus pringlei, or the false saguaro. And why is it a false saguaro? It's, you know, it's a little bit different color than the saguaro cactus that you see in the deserts. This one does grow much more rapidly. In ideal conditions, this will grow 1 to 2 feet a year. Mine doesn't grow nearly that much, maybe 4 to 6 inches. So I am going to move this, and actually it'll branch lower too than the saguaro, little different color. So I'm going to eventually move this. I had planned on doing that for a video, my first video, but I'm still kind of dealing with some leg issues here. I had a few injuries this summer that aren't quite healed yet, and I really can't quite risk another major leg injury before I've got some shoots coming up. So that is going to stay potentially for another maybe 3 to 4 weeks. And I will eventually move it this way. It's going to go where that other Palo Verde tree was. I don't have to worry about the root system getting into the sewers, just because, you know, cactus root system is pretty non-invasive, not like the Palo Verde's very invasive root system with those trees. Cactus roots, not invasive at all. So I can put one there without really worrying about any issues with my sewer system. So yeah, this is what's going on in the front yard here, and that is going to be the first change. It's getting crowded out by not only the Americana that's right here, but also this manzanita, this Dr. Hurd manzanita. And I have talked about this in the past, but it's worth mentioning again, that right behind it, this manzanita, let me come over here. Right behind it is this strawberry tree. And I planted the strawberry tree and it died on me. And you can see right down there, you can see a lot of the dead wood there. It died and it looked like it was a goner. And I put this manzanita in as sort of, you know, another kind of green, little bit of a canopy here that I wanted for some of these plants. And then the strawberry tree started to come back. And then the manzanita died. There was nothing left of it. It was just a bare tree. There was no life whatsoever. And then, lo and behold, they both came back. So now it's starting to get a little bit crowded back there. I did prune down the manzanita a little bit to kind of save some room here for the other large agaves and things around it. So I've got a lot of crowding issues here that I have to deal with. The easy thing to do would be to just take out this Americana, but like I said, I'm not ready to do that yet. So yeah, first I'm going to take that out, and that's going to be another video because that is going to be something that I'm going to have to plan a little bit, and I want to make sure that I get that location for this in a really good spot, because these cactus get very heavy, you know, with the added weight of all the branching. This will get enormous past my lifetime. Hopefully whoever has this house in the future will leave it there. So I have to make sure that I get that hole dug properly. And I don't know if you can see back here. Can you see up above? Back there, see some flowers up there? That is my very special Ceiba speciosa. If you're familiar with the Ruth Bancroft garden, they've got a huge Ceiba speciosa on their property. And, you know, I fell in love with that tree so much that I had to get my own. And I've posted some shorts about that. Maybe when I do a little bit in the backyard, I will show that tree as well. So let's go ahead and move on. Actually, before we move on, sorry, I wanted to kind of show this desert willow tree. I haven't really talked much about this. It is getting a lot bigger. This is the tree right in front of me here. It's not in bloom right now, but it does bloom several times a year. Wonderful, large white flowers, almost look like orchids, kind of like the Ceiba speciosa back there with pink-looking orchid flowers. This one has very similar looking flowers, but they are white. Fantastic, beautiful tree, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what this does in the coming years. Moving on, we are going to move from this spot, but I just wanted to point out this Samliana ferox here. This is a huge agave. This is going to get massive as well. And the reason why I wanted to kind of show that is because I want to come over here, back to where we were, this grouping of agaves here. This is also a Samliana. This is a variegated one. And most of the variegated Samliana that you see are going to be the Butterfingers. This one is not a Butterfingers. This one is a variety called the Crassuspina or Crassuspina. So it's a little bit different. This one has sort of these tulip-looking tips here, these terminal spines that will arch up that way. The Butterfingers lay straight. It's very sort of a straight-looking leaf system. This one kind of gently and elegantly kind of curls up at the ends. So this is a Crassuspina. It's a little bit different, but a wonderful variety. And with my last, one of my videos prior, I think the spring or whenever I did it, I took out all of the pups in the yard, but I did miss a few. And here is one of them. This is a baby Samliana there, variegated baby. And there's a bunch more here. There's a nice looking one there. A few here at the base, and I think there's a couple on the other side. So I'll make sure I pull those out. Really, they're not any need to come out right now. It's not like winter is going to affect those at all negatively. So probably leaving them in there will allow them to get a little bit more growth from its mom there. So yeah, let's go ahead and move on. And we're just going to walk over to the east side of the property here. This was my first video here, this Agave Perryi truncata. Planted that a little over a year ago, last August. And this is my massive Kalamata olive tree. This thing produces so many olives. I just got done putting them into the jars and pickled them yesterday. So they have been in the brine for the last 2 weeks. And I didn't post a video about us picking the olives this year. It kind of had to happen fast because we had some massive rains and a big storm come through, and I didn't want to let those olives be out in those conditions. I would have lost a lot on the ground. So I decided not to post a video because I had to hurry up and get those taken care of. So I did make a few photos of us kind of doing this process, posted a couple of shots of me on the ladder and such, but we have another Kalamata olive tree back here too. This one I did not pick because it's still kind of coming back from a hard prune that I did a couple of years ago. And this one just doesn't produce olives the same size as this one over here. These are really, really big. These are kind of small, so we left them. And hopefully next year, the next couple of years, we start having olives that are the same size. So what else did we do? Well, this one, last week, I put this aloe back right here. And this one was suffering pretty bad. So this early summer, I did a planting video of this, but I did have to take it out. It really suffered this summer because I put it in this spring, but it was kind of late spring. And as soon as I put it in, we got some high temperatures. Kept an eye on it all summer, took it out. Thankfully, it came back. It was doing pretty poorly. It came back and survived, thankfully. And this is an agave xylocantha. Have you seen these before? This one had some pest issues a couple years ago that it's still kind of managing to get through. Pretty neat plant, looks a lot like a kind of a titanota when it's younger, but that is called the xylocantha. And I showed you the truncata already. And we have some other variations of the blue flame. Some variegated ones here, and I'm sorry, not blue flame, blue glow, and there's a large one there. Ooh, nice little lizard kind of walking through frame there. Ovatifolia, this one is a whale's tongue agave that will get quite large. This one is going to get about 5 feet wide and tall, so I have to keep an eye on that with respect to space. So yeah, let's move on. We got a few agaves here worth mentioning. We've got a Salsinova doing well here. Agave Herida, it's not the best light, so you can't really see those beautiful teeth pop out there. We've got a strided Agave Americana back here, which is going to kind of populate most of this space up here. We've got Agave Montana here. Agave Montanas are known for being having a lot of issues with pests, and the mealybugs just love this one. So it's a constant battle, but it's worth having in the yard. It is under the Kalamata olive tree because when I first put these in the yard, I've got a few now. They were in full sun, and they just couldn't take the full sun heat here in Central Valley, California. So they went into kind of the places, the shady areas that I have very limited real estate. So it is one of those ones that I do have to kind of give it a little bit more shade. And we have this cool agave ripple effect here. One of my favorites. This doesn't get very large, which is the reason why it is here next to the driveway. This is where my wife parks the van, so can't have anything too huge here and menacing that might jump out and bite the kids. So we have a California sagebrush here. I love the smell of this thing, especially right now. It's in bloom, so you get this smell. You rub up against it, and they call it cowboy cologne. A very nice spicy smell. Another ovatifolia back here. A whole slew of things, kind of too many to kind of go into. Another horrida back here, another xylocantha, purpusorum. Oh, nice little birds here, kind of going around and looking for little pests to eat. So go for it, birds, eat all those pests. They are wonderful, just like all the lizards in the yard. They are a benefit. Lots of stuff back here, a couple more manzanitas, Dr. Hurd's back there. And up here we have got a rainbow eucalyptus, and that is going to populate this whole area here, along with this another Palo Verde here. So yeah, let's go ahead and keep walking around and see what we see. So we were just looking over here just a moment ago, but I wanted to check out a very special agave that I have down here in the shade. And it is this striated blue glow. One of my favorites. This didn't do so well in the spot I had it before. It got way too much sun. So I moved this last year. This is when I did the video of the truncata. I took this out of that spot and put it here, and it has done really well. So he really likes this area, gets lots of shade here. And you know, some agaves and other succulents don't do great when it comes to just full sun. And this is one of them. We've got a Texas sage right here. This one just bloomed, so there's not too many blooms on it here. But this one is pretty large. It's quite nice. I've got another one here where we just were. This Texas sage as well. You can see all of its old flowers on the ground right here because this was just in full bloom just a few days ago. Yeah, let's keep moving on. Actually, before we move on, I just wanted to come and show you this too, because I've got another Agave Montana here. This one is under the other Kalamata olive tree, and you can see what I'm talking about. Look at all of those mealybugs. Montanas are always, well, at least in my yard, known for this problem. I just come out here with a hose and blast it all off, and I treat them with the same treatment that I did a video on that some time ago with my pest solutions that I use. Here's that whale's tongue again, the ovatifolia, and I'm going to make my way out of here. I'm going to backtrack just a moment because I was talking about that Agave horrida, and I've got this larger specimen over here that we took a look at quickly just a moment ago, but I want to come back over here and do a little close-up because, you know, it's one of my favorites and it's worth seeing some of these teeth close up. So here we go. Isn't that beautiful? It's such a nice plant. Well, that's why it's right here in my pathway leading up to my house. It is one of my favorites. And look at these teeth close up. Look at that. Aren't those gnarly? Gnarly teeth. Love this agave. If you don't have one of these in your yard, you definitely should, if you can grow it where you live, because I know I'm from Michigan and I know that this isn't something we can do everywhere. And here again is that Tiho, or that Titanota horrida hybrid. This is from Hidden Agave. Wonderful creations there. His ranch is beautiful. I've never been down there, but hopefully one day I'll take the pilgrimage and meet Jeremy and check out his ranch there. Let's see if we can catch up to this little lizard here past the manzanita. You see him? Yard is full of lizards. Oh, there he goes, there he goes. I'm gonna keep chasing him. There he goes. Off into the rocks. Well, I think the time has come that we should head back into the backyard, and let's go in the greenhouse and see if we can pick out a plant to repot here. Just pulling down some of these spider webs. Kind of a daily chore for me, coming in here in the greenhouse, kind of tidying up a little bit, seeing what the spiders have weaved for me today. So the reason why we are here in this greenhouse is I kind of want to do a potting demo today. We're going to remove some pups from an agave, and I'm trying to figure out which one to do. I've got some agave Titanota or Titanota, Otirii, whatever you want to call them. This one has a few pups, and the pup that is right here is kind of concerning me because we have this really large rigid leaf and it is blocking most of the sun to that. So we might do this one today. If we don't do it today, I do have to do it soon. Got this beautiful snaggletooth here, but I don't have any pups from that. And these are purpusorums. These do not pup. So they'll only grow from seed. Same as this horita. These don't produce pups that I know of. I have another Otirii right here. And this one has a really nice pup right here. I don't know if you can see that. I do need to remove this at some point, but this is growing in such a way that it's kind of in between these major leaves here. So it has plenty of room to grow while it's in this pot. So I'm just going to leave that alone. I've got this black and blue way back here. This has a ton of pups, but I've got so many black and blue pups and plants and large and small that I don't want to contend with anymore at this time. So I'm just going to leave it in there. What else do I have? Again, this is another purpusorum. These do not pup. Another horita back here. We've got this white rhino and beautiful specimen. And I do have a pup right down in here. But again, this is in a pretty good spot where it can continue to grow. These are extremely slow growing. So I want to let this this pup grow as long as I can with the mother plant. If you can let an agave be connected to its mother in a pot or in the ground, you want to let that grow as long as you can. Try not to separate them if you don't have to. This one I don't have to right now, so I'm going to leave it. And the reason for that is it's just going to be healthier. It's going to get started a little bit better. If you do remove it and you put it in a pot when it's really small, then it's kind of starting new. A lot of times they won't acclimate well. So for me, I think it's best to leave them alone as long as you can until you can't anymore. So this is another white rhino pup. And I pulled this one out when it got pretty large a couple of years ago. Again, it's very slow growing. This has been in the container for, I would say, at least 2 or 3 years. And it wasn't much smaller than this when I took it out. So here is a Titanota lion's mane. This is another one that has a lot of pups around it. And these are not getting a lot of light. I do have a ton of these lion's mane already. And I kind of named this lion's claw just because this is a much different plant. I think it might be a hybrid with something else. This lion's mane looks way different than all the others I have. The teeth are all connected. They're very, the teeth are close together and they share kind of the same, it's like one tooth that comes off. So it's all white along here. A very unique species, much different than all the other ones I have. So I do want to get these out and get them in containers soon, but I kind of don't want to deal with a big plant today. So we've got the white rhino. Again, another snaggletooth, but I don't have any pups here. I think I am going to do this striated potatorum. Look at this beautiful plant. You see that? Look how many pups you have here. These are known to pup a lot. This is actually only from a couple years of growth. So this produces a lot of offsets, and I think this is the ideal plant to do today because it has so many to work with. Let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know, maybe 7 to 10 pups are in there. Perfect specimen to work with today. So let's go ahead and get this over to the workbench where we can get the dirt out. I kind of want to, if as much as possible, leave this plant intact. Like I don't want to pull it completely out of the pot. So what I'll do is I'll probably just kind of push on the sides here, pull the plant up, and try to very tactfully pull these pups out and try to get as much as the root system as possible, leaving the root system intact as much as possible with the main plant so that we can just pop it right back into this container. And then I'll probably pop maybe 1 or 2 of these. Probably don't need to do them all, just to kind of show you how to do that. So yeah, let's get started on this. Okay, here we are. This is the striated agave potatum that we got from the greenhouse. And as you can see, we've got a lot of pups here to work with. So the best thing that we are going to do in order to get these pups out safely is to kind of squeeze the container a little bit just to loosen up the root ball from the mom plant here. And then like I was saying before, I don't really want to take this whole plant out if I can help it. I think what I want to do is just sort of lift it out just a little bit.
2 hours later.
So we've taken the pot and we loosened it up, and we took the mother plant out, and it was in really good shape. It wasn't potted that long ago, and so it has a nice root ball, and we try to keep it in as good a shape as possible. I removed all of the pups already. Most of them already have a good root system already established, and you can see right here, this has some older roots and some new roots growing here. So this is in really good shape. And I've got another couple of big ones. I think I only have like maybe 2 or 3 in here that didn't come up with roots. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and some small ones here. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna reuse the same container here. And let me grab a few rocks. Okay, so go ahead and plug the holes. What I like to do is the drain holes here, I just take some stones and I put them in there, and what that'll do is that will just help keep the soil in here without blocking everything, or blocking the water from coming out. So we want to be able to keep a little bit of the water inside when we water this, but we don't want all the soil to just kind of leak out. So what we'll do is we'll put some of those stones in there, and then go ahead and set this aside real quick. And we'll just set the pups aside for now, and we'll set this right here. And we'll just come in here and put some lava in the bottom of this here. Helps to have this little kind of turntable system. Allows you to kind of spin your pot. Makes the whole process a little bit easier. Now, once we get about, 1.5 inches or so, maybe about 1 inch of lava in there, mostly just covering up the little rocks that we put in the place there. Once we do that, it's good to have some loose rocks like the lava like I use, or bonsai block, that's another good rock, or pumice. We put that in there just to make the drainage process a little bit easier, so that if we're using soil and the soil gets kind of compacted over time from the water, that it's not sort of creating a barrier for that water to come out. We don't want to trap the water in there. What we want to do is make that water kind of flow freely through the root system. And we want to trap some of the moisture, but not all of it. So that's why we're going to put some lava down there. And then we're just going to reuse some of this wonderful soil. So we're just going to put a little bit down here. And we're just going to repot the mother plant. So let's go ahead and take it up here. We'll try to keep this root ball in one piece as possible. We'll drop that right in there. And you've got a lot of the loose, loose root ball on top. So we'll just kind of push that in and then come back, get some more of the soil. And again, this is very coarse soil. So only about 20 or 30% organics. Most of it is very coarse, and that is going to allow for optimal drainage. And that's the same for pretty much all of our succulents, from the soft leaf succulents all the way on up to cactus. This is a really easy plant to grow. I do have issues with mealy bugs with some of my other potato, but so far this has done really well. Okay. And what we're going to do with the soil is we are going to push it down so that it's about 2 inches from the top of the pot. And on top of the soil, we are going to put more lava. I think that's probably enough, maybe just a little bit more. We don't want the soil all the way up to the bottom of the leaves, because the soil, when it's wet, has a tendency to rot those bottom leaves, and we want to keep those leaves as healthy as possible. We don't want the leaves on the bottom to be in contact with the soil, with the any of the organics. So what we'll do is get that in there, and then now we'll come back with the lava and put this on top. The lava will create a barrier between the bottom of the leaves and the soil, and we won't have any issues with the bottom of the leaves rotting out on us. Now, the bottom of the leaves will die eventually. That's just how agaves work. Sometimes when I sell my plants, I'll get people, the buyers will come in contact with me because they'll be like, oh, I bought a plant, a year ago, and the bottom leaves are dropping. And I have to just reassure them that that is perfectly normal. When an agave grows, it's going to grow from the cone here, from this terminal spine. It's going to produce new leaves, and then as it grows larger, the bottom leaves will be the first to go. So, okay, this plant is back in here. I'm gonna put a little bit more lava on this side. And what we're doing now is just we're spinning it around and making sure that the plant is in here and it's not gonna move around on us, because a plant will grow its best when it's nice and stable in the pot, so that it feels confident to start growing. The only thing I have to do with this one is water it, and I'm not going to do that yet. We're going to be getting a lot of rain in the next couple of days, and this is going back in the greenhouse. I don't have the winter covers on the greenhouse yet, so it's going to get plenty of rain in there. I'm just gonna leave it as is. It's not super high dry months right now. We're into November already, so this will be fine. Let me set this aside, and we'll get working on a couple of these. And what we want to do is, let me just put the rest of this dirt here. We are just going to reuse some of our old pots, which is perfectly fine. And with these pots, there's like a little bit of wire mesh in there, and that is just going to prevent the soil from leaking out of those kind of rather large holes in there. Really see it in there. And we are going to do what we did with the large plant. We're just going to put a little bit of lava at the bottom, not a lot, maybe about a little less than a centimeter. And I'm not going to do all of these as a demo, but I do just want to show you a couple. So we'll do the biggest one first, and you can see here really nice roots already growing there, and already nice set of established roots. So this is very healthy, beautiful striations there. Look at that gorgeous plant. And before we get this in there, let's put a little bit of soil in. Use some of the mom dirt. Very good. Okay. Now we'll just be gentle. You know, I could probably put this in a full-size pot, but I don't have a lot of room in the greenhouses, so I think, yeah, that works. Plenty of room to grow. Get some more of our soil here. Put it right on top of those roots. Spin it around, and then we'll go on the other side. Some more there. Turn it around, back to the other side. Just like so. And same thing with the mom plant there. We're not going to put dirt all the way up to the bottom leaves, but we will pack it down a little bit. A little bit more dirt. Okay, we'll take our rooting tool here, a root hook, just push some of this dirt down. All right, this one is actually going to go in the greenhouse that's behind me. This one here, this is kind of my agave hospital. It's where all the pups are, and if I have a problem with the health of another agave, that's where I put them. So the mom plant will go back into the greenhouse where you saw me get it from. And these are all going to go into the little greenhouse behind me. I am seriously running out of room in there, so it's going to be a bit of a chore to figure out where to put it. I think I have a whole lot of pups that need to come out of there because they're either too big for the containers or they lost their battle with nature and they are no longer with us. So I do have to take out some of these pups. This one turned out really good. Check that out. And that is the first one. Let me do one more and we'll call it a day. We'll do the other large one too. And when you have like a little bit of leaf here, we'll just take this off very gently. We don't want to tear off any of these roots down there. And that's just going to make it a little easier for new roots to get established. This is doing really well. It already has a lot of roots right there. So we're just going to put a little bit of soil, not a lot, because we've got a lot. This is pretty tall right here. So we don't have a lot of room in here for the bottom of these roots. So just put those in there. And then here's a trick that I like to do. So once we get it in there, and instead of just pushing it down, I kind of give it a turn. And when you turn it like that, the roots will sort of turn with the plant, and kind of a corkscrew effect where it's easier to kind of push it down rather than forcing the roots in there. So let's go ahead and put some soil in. Same thing. Start to cover up the roots there. We'll turn it 180 degrees, get the opposite side. Turn it back a little bit more. And I noticed that I have some debris down in the middle there, and I'll make sure that I pull out some of those rocks. All right, so we got enough soil in there. Let's go here. This is our topper. Again, this is here as a barrier. You know, this works in more ways than just a barrier between the soil and the leaves. It also, in the summer months, it will help prevent the moisture from evaporating from the soil that's in there. And in the winter time, it just keeps the root system nice and warm. So, and then also it looks nice. So go ahead and take a little paintbrush. I've got a million of them laying around here. Go through a lot of these. There we go. Yeah, that did it. All right. Beautiful. Look at these, look at that variegation there. Isn't that wonderful? So nice. And there you have it. So we've got, you know, a bunch more left here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a few smaller ones. I'll do these off camera a little bit later. I have a bunch of things to work on today, but I'm glad that I was able to kind of come back out and do a little video for you guys today. I know I've been gone a while and I do apologize for that. You know, everyone's busy. I'm busy, just trying to get out here and do some work. And, you know, I've mentioned this in the past, where this is sort of kind of like my Zen time. This is the time that I like to kind of come out and do some things on my own. And I don't always like to record everything I do. I like to share as much as I can with you guys. But a lot of times, you know, the yard, it's for me. It's for me getting away from work, getting away from all the hustle and bustle and the noise of everyday life. So I don't always like to turn that time into work, because it's a lot of work producing these videos and I'm not making any money from this. So priority is, you know, my family and taking care of them and work and things. So this is sort of my free time, and I want to share as much as I can with you guys. And I'm glad I was able to get back out here and make a video today. So I hope you enjoyed what you saw. If any of this sort of resonated with you and you want to see more, feel free to give me a thumbs up. It really helps out the channel. If you haven't already, like and subscribe and share, and send me any feedback in the comments below, especially when I'm talking about cactus and I don't know what I'm talking about. So if you know what these are, this one and even this one back here, the false saguaro cactus, and I've got this one back here to remind me that I have to get this cactus in the yard as well. I had to take that out a little while ago. I did do some work in the yard and I needed the extra space to extract the tree, so I had to take that out temporarily. And this will do really well planting it before winter sets in. Not like these are a little small and I don't know a lot about these. This right here, I've got a whole bunch of these in the yard, and I have a lot of experience working with those. And as we are moving into winter, that's not going to have much of a problem at all. So I'm pretty confident that that will go okay. So yeah, thanks again for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. And remember, life is tough, but so are agaves. Stay sharp and keep growing. We'll see you next time. Thanks.